In this video, we are going to go through 6 powerful solutions to overcome procrastination, even if you're a self-claimed procrastinator. Because I probably don't need to tell you how much damage procrastination does to you and society. The fear-based kind, compared to strategic delay, is a major problem. Take a moment and imagine how much better the world would be if everyone could fulfill their dearest wishes and overcome this wall of guilt. Somehow we are conditioned to be mediocre and do not fulfill our dreams. Crazy, right? Moreover, procrastination can come in various forms. From a small gratification of "I don't need to do this right now," to stark terror like a dragon you do not want to come across but will eat you nonetheless. But there is hope. There are a lot of solutions, but personally I found 6 of them to be particularly helpful. Number 1. Plan your time. The savior to every negative emotion and event is a combination of calendars, lists, and notes, which is my barbell system. In the case of procrastination, the calendar is our main focus. And it's pretty simple. Schedule an event with yourself when you're going to work. And then magic happens. Once it is scheduled, it is out of your mind. You can relax, knowing that it's going to happen then, not before and after, unless changes in circumstances. You can also forget motivation entirely, since you're going to show up anyway, like a robot. And this is how I manage to get things done. Every morning after 6 a.m, I sit down to write the daily article and record the matching podcast episode. I also schedule 60 to 120 minutes every day, except for Sundays, to work on my books, in order to get that steady pace. And notice the specificity in minutes. It is important since you want to define your limits. Otherwise it's easy to not work at all or work way too much and burn out if you don't like it. Therefore, if you have a particular task and assignment due, create a schedule for yourself. For example, every day I work on X for more than 60 minutes and no more than 90 minutes. Progress will be made and you will never quit. Number 2, be extremely clear about what to do next. One of the most common procrastination sources is ambiguity. You do not know what to do next. You're afraid of going into the wrong path and thus numb out. We want to avoid it at all costs and use clarity instead. Continually ask yourself, what is the very next physical action? Go down to mundane stuff like open tab, type something, pick up the phone, etc. When the next steps are truly concrete, the ambiguity loses its power. You feel you can manage it and start to move forward without strain. And one last thing before we move on. Mistakes are good. Science has shown that errors increase focus and attention. In other words, the more errors we see as soon as possible, the better focus we will get. So start now and run, but with your hands. Number 3, be comfortable in not getting it done as expected. And I've struggled with this fear, which continually asks, are we going to get done at that time? Why not? Are we? Etc. Because you do not want to embarrass yourself or admit failure once again. However, things can happen that require more time for it. You might find a rabbit hole that was particularly helpful but delayed the entire pursuit. The only thing you can control though is your work. And if it takes longer to complete, it's okay, because you always move forward compared to procrastinators. Number 4, enjoy the process no matter what happens. Here is the ultimate hack to working. Enjoy it for its own sake. And that holds true to any kind of pursuit where the gratification is delayed. Because if it's just a means to an end, you will quickly lose motivation, especially when it goes bad. Instead, you should reframe it like a hot bath. The purpose is to become clean, but the warmth on your skin makes it a fantastic experience every second. When I work on my articles and podcast episodes and with these videos, as well as newsletter articles, I do not think primarily of the success of them. I look mostly forward to the ambient music and a comfortable place. And you can find the playlist which I listen to in the description. So the practice becomes its own reward, which is the goal. It does not matter too much what happens with this particular article for me, since I already got my reward from this experience. Which leads us to the next one. Number 5. Lower the criteria for success. Because, as you probably know, innermost, perfectionism. The belief that it has to be perfect, otherwise it's total failure. This particular trait is the enemy to fantastic work. And it arises from high expectations and kills creativity. The worst thing you can do is to put up the stakes and criteria and all these kind of expectations. Again, expectations. Instead, tell yourself that it's not so important and you are allowed to be disappointed. Be kind to yourself, no matter what happens. Because once the pressure is off, you will enter the flow state of total focus and you're going in the right direction. It feels good every second and produce work you're proud of nonetheless. And lastly, number 6, use your fear as fuel. Ultimately, you're afraid, I'm afraid, and everyone probably is afraid to be ridiculed by the world, although it's mostly happening in your own head. However, you can interpret the fear as a signal of doing your best work. I call it the anti-fragile response, when you transform negativity to positivity. Again, link in the description for that. The anti-fragile response is one of the keys to human thriving. You will learn from mistakes anyway, so there is no real threat. Remember that this fear paralyzes most people, and you're courageous enough to feel it. So be in total presence and feel the fear and resistance to move forward. So, as a short summary, we got number 1, plan your time. Number 2, be extremely clear about what to do next. Number 3, be comfortable not getting it done as expected. Number 4, enjoy the process no matter what happens. Number 5, lower the criteria for success. And number 6, use your fear as fuel. If you do each of them, you can do it separately or combination, stuff like that. All these will make you crush the assignment that you are innermost rooting for. But again, don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. Start getting it today, and you will thank yourself down the line later.